And welcome to Encore. This is the show where we debate and disagree, and we give you the opportunity to have your say too. And you can contact us in the usual way by fax and email. On the ITV panel tonight, we welcome Ron Atkinson for the very first time. Hi, Ron. Terry Venables, former England manager, is with us again. And John Barnes, MBE. Congratulations on that, John.
Thank you.
And here's what's in store for you over the next hour. These are strange days for England's footballers. Glenn Hoddle has to get his timing absolutely right. He mustn't swing off course when he swaps the tees for the touchline. Scotland's Colin, Hendry and Kevin Gallacher have already felt the heat of battle. Now they know it'll be anything but a gentle stroll against the Norwegians. And that includes the first major upset. We'll drop in on the Reggae Boys as the Jamaicans prepare to put their stamp on the tournament. And we talk in Paris to Sir Geoff Hurst, named in the Queen's birthday honours list. Now we're going to start with the latest developments in the England camp. The team for that Tunisian match on Monday afternoon continues to be the source of massive speculation, and we'll get the panel's view on that in just a moment. But first, let's hear from Gary Newbon at La Baule.
It may look like England's footballers are taking it easy on the golf course, but this is competitive stuff.
It just helps to build the team spirit. We have a little competition, and we have a little Division 1 and Division 2. Anyone outside the 18 handicap is in the nationwide league and the Premiership League. So someone's trying to get promotion, and someone might get relegated. So, I mean, there's a good bit of banter as well. And the most important thing that drives me on the golf course is my little bet with Ray Clements, and let's say I'm three or four games up at the moment, but this week I think I've got to give him 4 shots, so maybe he's going to tuck me back a bit, but that just inspires me to go on and play no. Sorry, I was getting carried away.
Well, why are you getting carried away? Who's the best golfer?
The best golfer? Well, young Michael Owen. I haven't played with him yet. Obviously, he's only just joined us really over the last 2 years. He's 8 handicap. I don't know what he's doing in the afternoon. It's up in Liverpool, but. David Seaman at the moment is and the other little thing, and the boys haven't seen it yet, but we've got a nice little surprise, little jacket for the best golfer this year as well. But I don't know what size it might be a bit small for him. The green jacket might be David Seaman at the moment, but that might change.
We might finish up on Glenn Hoddle, knowing how
competitive
you are.
I don't think so. I think I've got other things on my mind when I'm out there.
And that mind is focusing now on Monday, Marseille and a rendezvous with Tunisia.
You'll announce the team at the last moment, presumably. Do you think it really matters whether the opposition know what your team is?
Yes, very much so, because I know what an advantage it would be if I knew that exactly what their team was going to be. I'd know probably what shape they're going to play, where the pickups would be from set plays, where the dangers were, where we could actually get at them. It makes the match day, that hour in the dressing room, if you like, a lot more settling. If suddenly you get that team sheet and you don't know what that's, you've got to then, from there, very quickly sort a lot of things out, pin everything down, whereas, you know, if you know it in advance, you've got a couple of days to work on it. For instance, against Italy, in Rome, such a big game, we worked on the team, and I told the team in Bisham Abbey, and we worked, you know, the first 3 days before we left for Rome on the team, and we kept that under our hat. There was problems at Wembley for whatever reason, but for the away game, such a big game, and, you know, I said to the boys, this is imperative that this team doesn't get out. So, you know, it can be done. If we get off to a reasonable start and we don't do anything silly, we saw in Morocco, and I've seen in Tunis when I went and watched them play Yugoslavia, their crowd can turn on them. They can turn on them. So we're hoping that, you know, we can insert our game on them, and slowly but surely their crowd might start turning on them. But you can never tell. You know, if they get, if they go ahead, then obviously it's a different story.
And that mind is focusing now on Monday, Marseille and a rendezvous with Tunisia.
And that mind is focusing now on Monday, Marseille and a rendezvous with Tunisia. And that mind is focusing now on Monday, Marseille and a rendezvous with Tunisia. And that mind is focusing now on Monday, Marseille and a rendezvous with Tunisia. And that mind is focusing now on Monday, Marseille and a rendezvous with Tunisia. And that mind is focusing now on Monday, Marseille and a rendezvous with Tunisia. And that mind is focusing now on Monday, Marseille and a rendezvous with Tunisia. And that mind is focusing now on Monday, Marseille and a rendezvous with Tunisia. And that mind is focusing now on Monday, Marseille and a rendezvous with Tunisia. And that mind is focusing now on Monday, Marseille and a rendezvous with Tunisia. And that mind is focusing now on Monday, Marseille and a rendezvous with Tunisia. And that mind is focusing now on Monday, Marseille and a rendezvous with Tunisia. And that mind is
Japanese referees got a bit of a reputation of being fairly fierce, so obviously caution.
Well, I've spoken to Arsene Wenger, and I'll be speaking to him again. He's down in Marseille, and obviously he spent time in Japan. So he's given us a little bit of an SP on the referee, and he says that he's pretty lenient. I mean, I was surprised to hear that, but I can only go by what Arsene said. But, you know, many of these referees might change their style just for this World Cup. So I think it's luck of the draw with the referees at this moment in time.
Well, the guessing game continues for the England team, and this is how it could well shape up. And the surprise is there. No David Beckham, Anderton instead, and no Michael Owen in that team. Ron Atkinson, what's your thoughts about that likely team? Do you think it's going to be that for a start?
There is a possibility of it. I mean, I'd be surprised if we went in without Beckham, because he's been very much a key player for Glenn Hoddle since, you know, through the qualifying rounds. I personally would play him ahead of Anderton, but I wouldn't play that particular system anyway. I'd look to play a more traditional English way of four players at the back, including the two Arsenal central defenders, Keown and Adams.
And would you have Owen in your starting 11?
Oh, definitely. Owen would be one of my first players on the list. I think the fella's on fire. He's a goal scorer, and I think I don't think the World Cup will faze him at all.
Terry?
I think that I'll be surprised if Gary Neville don't play. I thought that Gary Neville might be on the right and maybe Southgate on the left, and it may be Sol as well, out of the two of them, but I think Gary would be fairly certain.
Where do you stand on this keeping the team so secret? How much of an advantage do you really feel that is?
Well, I can see what Glenn's saying. It's helpful, but you can't possibly know what the team's going to be unless you're a Norway where it's so settled. They do change their teams around. So I think if you're looking at that, from the time we play our first game against Tunisia, everyone will know what our setup basically is. They'll know what our subs play like, because you look at videos and see what they play. You know how they're going to slot in. I would go for playing them more together and just settling it down.
And John, the players obviously know the lineup anyway, don't they?
Yeah, they're being very vigilant because it hasn't really got out, and Graham saw in an interview as being very strong, and then Glenn rightly said there are ways of keeping it on the wraps. But I believe that if you are of the stature of England, as Brazil would do, they say, this is our team, we believe we're good enough to go and beat you, so you know Ronaldo's going to play, how are you going to stop him? How are you going to stop Shearer? We know Shearer's going to play. So it's only the question mark over one or two players who aren't the star players anyway, so how important is that? You know, so I believe that they should really just come out and say, this is England, this is the way we play, this is the team, now try and stop us.
John, one of the many emails that we've had comes from a John Paget, and this is one for all three of you, really. You first, John. He says this could be a big World Cup for Steve McManaman. Give him the free roll. Well,
There's a good argument for that, particularly in the position that, as he had up there, with Paul Scholes behind the front too. Now, obviously, it just depends on Glenn's structure and his philosophy on how we're going to play, because what Scholes will give you is he can play a lot of through balls, he'll run with the ball, he'll play 1-2s, he sees a lot more than McManaman. But I think that with McManaman's dribbling ability, as you can see, the effect that dribblers have on the World Cup so far, McManaman could be very important, and I think that he will play some part.
He was an important player for you, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm a fan of his. I think he's a very good player, and people keep saying about how he played on the left, and a lot of the time, in actual fact, McManaman played in '96 on the right-hand side, and Anderton played on the left, because in the end we felt that Anderton was better suited on that side.
What about this point, Ron, that Glenn obviously feels a lot about, silencing the crowd there, scoring early perhaps, and is that really a vital factor in a World Cup?
It could be if you were playing France. I don't think it'll make that much difference if we're playing Tunisia. I think that the best way to silence them is to get out and give them a good hiding. I mean, I don't think we should show any fear. Oh, no, not necessarily. Just give them a good hiding. I don't think we should be showing any fear at all about playing Tunisia. I mean, you come back and say, all right, Morocco, excellent side, and Cameroon and all that, but we should be going into the Tunisian game, and I think they will. I think England are pretty positive and pretty sure that they'll win that game. If they don't win that game, they'll have it all on the qualifier, you know.
I mean, looking at the preparations that are now coming through to a close, Terry, do you feel that the England are coming to the boil at the right time? I mean, if you were in charge, do you think there'd be anything now you would think,
well,
not worrying?
I don't know about coming to the boil. We haven't started yet. We're not kicked a ball, so we are trying to.
But they want to hit the ground running,
down,
don't they?
And let's see what we got from out of this game. Yeah, we talk about Beckham and we talk about Batty and who's going to play. Again, it's the Owen Shearer same situation. If you want to play Ince in the middle and Beckham and Scholes either side to break forward alternatively or both together, something, that's fine. If Glenn wants to nail down 2 midfield players, or rather if he wants Scholes to break forward and break forward and break forward, you've then got to have a Batty type guy with Ince. So again, like we said the other night, it depends on what his structure is and what he's going to put his hat on.
But, John, it really is important for England to get a flying start against Tunisia.
Yeah, and they'll
like
be chopping at the bit. I mean, I didn't realise how long England had to wait before they actually played a game, because, I mean, we've been here for a while now and there have been so many games that England haven't played. And it's difficult sitting down, watching games, wanting to play, the build-up. So England will be really looking forward to the game, and it's important they go out and get a good start, because on the face of it, this would be the easiest game on the face of it. But of course, you know, and as Terry says, if they don't get a result in this game, then obviously with Romania and Colombia to come up, they'll have it all to do. But I fully expect them to go out and win the game come to.
I think that is stating the obvious anyway, isn't it?
Sure.
I mean, isn't every country saying we need a good start? I mean, it's like saying this game needs a goal. I mean, how often do we say?
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at when Scotland played Brazil, okay, they lost to Brazil, but maybe they expected that and they can still qualify from that. But with this game being, on the face of it, as I mentioned, the easier game, the easiest game of the group, they really do need a good start in this one.
OK, thanks for the moment, gents. Right, well, while England are waiting for a slice of the action, Scotland prepare for what Craig Brown has called on ITV a cup final against Norway in Bordeaux on Tuesday afternoon. That's live only on this channel, by the way. The Scots, though, by no means downhearted after that defeat by Brazil, and Gabriel Clarke's been chatting to Colin Hendry and to Kevin Gallacher.
I mean, the lads have took heart out of the first game. I mean, I think that's the thing. The lads are they're still on a high. It's not as if we've gone down a heavy defeat. The lads have held their hands high against like, the former world champions. So, I mean, we've done ourselves proud. Now, the build-up, you would think would be a little bit harder, but the lads, I think, can't wait for the game to come along. I mean, I think they prefer the game to be now than later.
To be quite blunt, I think people thought we were going to get beat 3 or 4-0. And probably miss a hatful of chances. I think Jim Leighton's had a couple of great saves in the first half, and he's not been troubled too much in the second. I mean, Ronaldo's had one run the whole game. You know, I mean, I picked up 1 or 2 papers that have been out here and they're going on about how well Ronaldo had done and his pace and his quick feet. Yeah, great, but he had one run with the ball the whole game, and he didn't score.
Colin Hendry, lovely control.
How good are Norway? I think the record stands for itself. You know what I mean? They haven't lost many games in the last year. They have a system, a set system. I don't think they change it for anybody, and they stick to that system. They've been getting results, so it's up to other teams to obviously break them down. And there has been a lot of weaknesses shown in their side. It's up to other teams to counter that.
We knew that we had to win one of the games at the 3. So we weren't just going to lie down and be beaten by Brazil. We gave a good account of ourselves. We were beaten, but we're still in a very similar scenario as to what we were like before the 3 games started, because we did realise that our best chances of winning games would come against Norway and Morocco.
I think we can create more chances for the strikers to score goals. I think that's the difference that we never done against Brazil. The strikers were creating chances for other people, but now I think we need the other people to create chances for the strikers.
Gallacher! It could have been so much better for Scotland.
We know, and within ourselves, our abilities, and that we are more than capable of qualifying to the next stages, and that what we've got to do is to turn that into the performance that will guarantee us that.
We've given ourselves a mountain to climb, but we've got probably 2 of the biggest games. We've got 2 really big cup finals for us, and the first one starting with Norway. So, I mean, as long as we can prepare properly, get everything ready, then we should be ready for it.
Well, this is where they probably would have expected to be after that opening game, Terry. But what a contrast for Scotland. Brazil one day, Norway the next. How would you counter the Norwegian style that's been so effective?
Well, now you're talking about England needing a good result. Now we're talking about Scotland they do need a good result. There's no doubt about that. And it's nice to see them looking so confident. I think there's lots of things going for them. I thought the Norwegian back 4 the other night, 3 of those players didn't play well, so they've got to get at them. They did concede a lot of ground, and I know it's not easy against Brazil because you're trying to fill spaces, and then you try to fill space with so many men, you can't get forward when you're breaking, and I didn't think they were able to do that. They've got to set their structure out where They're going to be capable to hold these long balls, which they're used to doing, people like Hendry, but they've got to structure their team in such a way as they can really hit them because they're there to be scored against Norway, in my opinion.
John?
Yeah, I agree with Terry. I think that they'll probably play a slightly different team and system against Norway because I felt that against Brazil, they got in good positions with Drury and Gallagher both breaking, but you can get up and support. Now I think if they play maybe a more attacking midfield player to get up there and support them, because obviously they'll expect to have more of the play than they did against Brazil. And also, defensively, they're not going to have the same problems they did against Brazil because Norway are just going to play much more direct, and that's what they're used to in the English and Scottish game. So I don't think it's going to be a problem for them. Hendry will relish that.
Are you thinking of anybody in particular they might bring in there in that midfield? Or?
Well, I mean, Simon Donnelly, he's quite quick. He plays for Celtic, even playing 3 up front instead of 2 and an attacking midfield player. I think that they'll need someone to get forward and support if they're going to play Drury and Gallagher, and I think they will because they're both quick. And the Moroccan boys were very quick, and they gave the Norwegians a lot of problems with their pace, so I think that those two will play.
Ron, it's a very British-style game, if I can put it, that they're going to face, and you'd have had the problem quite a few times in your managerial
Tell you
career.
what, I saw Norway play the other night. They're predictable. You know what they're going to do from A to B. They're going to hit diagonal balls to the far post. The likes of Henry, Big Henry, Boyd, people like that are well capable of dealing with that. They deal with it week in and week out. And I think if they can run the gullies, if the two strikers, if Drury and Gallagher are about the business, and little John Collins is threading the sort of balls through that we saw the Moroccans threading through the other day, they've got acres of space to hit. They're not quick. Terry's just said the Norwegian back four is slow, and I honestly think Scotland will beat them.
Mind you, Terry, it's been such an effective system for Norway. Personally, I hate watching it. I mean, if they're playing my back garden, I'd pull the curtains, but it's been so successful for them.
It's been successful, and you can't knock them for that, but it's not attractive. I wouldn't buy a season ticket, that's for sure. But you've got to understand why he's doing it. He's transformed Norwegian football from an unsuccessful country to very successful. So you can't blame him for changing it. But John's saying there just now about, you know, playing 3 up. They had 3 players against Brazil, which they could have played up. They had Gallagher and they had Jackson and Drury, but they withdrew 2 of them. So, like he's saying, really, if you just put them in a different area of the field, they could be a threat.
But if they just onside, Jim, they'll get through time after time. I thought their organisation at the back was very poor. I thought they held a high line, left a lot of space behind it, and once the Moroccans had sussed it out, once the 2 front Moroccan players, Adair and Basir, had twigged it, they just kept running through for fun.
The fullbacks as well, they were there to be taken. Bjornaby, I thought, and Berg, both of them were there to be taken, and they had trouble. They had trouble with the first goal. That's where the space is, because they played 4 there and 5 very close in front of them, and there's no space between them. The space is on the outsides, and that's where you've got to invade and play it across the back of them.
But I get the impression that we're all pretty optimistic about the Scots, that they're going to progress. Are we?
I think they're going to beat them.
John?
I am, and I think also what the result, the Morocco-Norway result was a great result for Scotland. Had Norway won that match, or even Morocco won that match, but I think their draw was a great result for Scotland.
But it's not a foregone conclusion. I think everyone expects so much now from Scotland. The expectancy is very high. They've said they've almost drawn with Brazil. Now we beat Norway. It may be one of those a little bit.
All right, one of those. OK, one of those. C'est la faute or la foot, isn't it, that John Collins said, I think. One of those could happen. OK, next, the pick of the Saturday action, including the trick of the tournament so far. Made in Mexico.
I'm sure I dropped my car keys around here somewhere. Ooh, I found the wine gum. Of the world's best players. A ball that is faster and truer. Boots that make those players even more powerful. World Cup '98. It's about those who love the game enough to do something about it.
you want. You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, well, you might find you get what you need.
With new organics mousse, there's no stiffness or stickiness, so there's no chance of me sticking to my old ways.
Far post! Far post! Get it!
It was offside, man.
I love these reclining seats.
And hello once again from Paris, where it's action time on Encore. And first we go to Group D. Wide open, really, after yesterday's goalless draw between Paraguay and Bulgaria. Now, enter Spain and Nigeria in Nantes. Peter Brackley's your commentator.
Hierro hovering over this free kick. Vision of Hierro and the technique of Raul has proved such a potent combination. It's a super goal. Echeverria. Kiko in the centre, that's Amor. This is Sergi. Oh, agonizingly close. And it's drama here right to the last. Inches over from Sergi.
And so Nigeria, those Super Eagles, perch on top of Group D. Spain threatening to underachieve on the world stage again. Group E opening up with South Korea against Mexico in Lyon. Let's join Clive Tilsley.
Co 14 and pass 17 are the two lefties. They're standing over the ball. No is there too.
There'll be no bigger smile in the opening stages of the World Cup finals. That goal means so much to them.
Well done, Luis Hernandez. Tonight in Group E, we saw a clash of those bitter rivals, Holland and Belgium at the Stade de France. Dennis Bergkamp just not fit enough to start for the Dutch. Manchester United's new man Stam. Arsenal's Overmars and Hasselbank of Leeds all in. Belgium including 37-year-old Frank van der Elst in their midfield, and Luke Nillis, he'll be with Bobby Robson at PSV Eindhoven next season. It's Holland in the blue then, watched by Peter Drury.
By the Flandre. De Vilder in terrible trouble. Well, it's hard to view a contest that promised so much in anything other than a disappointing light on two counts. One in footballing terms, though Bergkamp enlivened it late and Holland picked it up in the second half. It didn't quite live up to billing. But two, and this is one of the major talking points of the World Cup to date, the late dismissal of Patrick Kluivert was controversial at best, and at worst, a downright bad decision by Pierluigi Collina, the Italian referee. The final score, Holland 0, Belgium 0.
that means the group looks like this after just one game. The Mexicans setting the early pace, and Belgium and the Dutch with just 1 point apiece. South Korea yet to get off the mark. Okay, we will talk, of course, about that Patrick Kluivert incident later, but I'd just like to run down the line, starting with you first, John. Have you ever seen a trick like that before?
Never, never. I wonder what he was going to do. I looked at him and I thought he's going to do something special here, and it was. But I've never seen anything like that, no.
Terry?
No, I've never seen one like that before.
You're going to complete the hat-trick here, Ron, aren't you?
Well, I've got to say, it's been the best moment in the World Cup for me. I fell over laughing when I saw it, and then he does it again later on, doesn't he?
Yeah, he tried it 3 times, and
just
twice
saying,
it
we're trying to think of a name. We've
Here he comes. Let's have a look at him, the man in the... Now, anyway, if you at home can think of a name for that, we would be delighted to hear your suggestions.
Tell you what, Jim, the only thing he's done is signalled his intent now to the rest of every other nation. Can you imagine him playing against the Italians or the Spaniards and getting in that situation and doing it?
Well, you can't have defenders getting too close together because he'll just stop through.
I think you might find, if he's playing against somebody like
Gentili. How do you get the ball? That's the idea. How do you
well, how do you get the ball?
You just have a kick at it. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's a good. Next thing, he'll be putting up this shirt.
I think that has to be that has to be the first original move. I mean, we all talk about the Cruyff turn, but I'm sure that someone had done that turn before, Johan Cruyff in 1974, but I don't think anyone has ever done that.
Ron, I checked out on his pen picture and it said he tends to do too much himself.
I tell you what,
he's got those new boots. He's got a bit of glue, I think, on the insides of them when he sticks that ball.
I think if he tries it in the next game against opposition, he'll get wellied.
But any suggestions, welcome. I think Kevin Keegan came up with a kangaroo this afternoon, but any suggestions from you, very welcome. The serious side of it, Patrick Kluivert. Now, it seemed